this. We are in for a wild night.
Welcome everyone to episode 152 of Born to be Wild, a Wild exclusive Hearthstone podcast where we have fun hanging out with friends, talking about the Wild format of Hearthstone and spotlighting members of the Wild community. I'm your host as always, Nate Wolf. It is great to be here on a beautiful Friday evening, joining you live from Orange County, California. I'm here tonight with two of my very favorite people. Hydralisk, welcome back. How are you?
I'm great. I'm trying to contain myself from not laughing too much at that intro.
It was pretty good. My
Pure
kid
gold.
My kid has been walking around doing it like for 2 weeks now. He's just walking around going,
that's great.
It's so funny.
We've found out that like you haven't heard it here. You hear the cute Rory sounds.
Mm-hmm.
But we've found out that a lot of her sounds actually sound like Murloc sounds. And so we've now decided that my cat is a Murloc. If I can get one on recording, I will use it. But it's super cute.
Oh, that's great.
But anyway,
Is she a Murloc or a Purloc or a Meowloc?
Purloc is pretty good.
That's pretty
Purloc
good.
is pretty good. But no, I'm doing great. Coming at you guys from the greater Vancouver area. And it is actually an amazing, gorgeous day out. And we were so stoked to like go out and do a bunch of stuff on the weekend. And we just looked at the weather and it's supposed to rain all weekend.
Oh,
Which is like super lame. But
yeah.
it'll be fine. I got video games. It's all good.
Right.
But super stoked to be here. Got some stuff to talk about.
I forgot
Friday
to.
night's the best night.
It is. It's pizza night, right? We started doing that, and I forgot to update the background, so we're still in March to the Lich King. Sorry. Oh, you hear that? He's doing it in the background.
I did.
There shall always be a Lich King, so the background is never wrong, right?
Hey, there we go.
The scourge grows.
I'll try to update it this weekend. I'm so like perturbed because usually they provide some kind of like nice border, and they didn't this time. It's like it's just art, which is it's really great art, but there's no. I'm having a difficult time finding assets to use in the same way that I normally would, and so I'll have to get a little bit creative. But ideally, I'll have something new for next week. For you audio listeners, you don't care. Anyways, welcome back, Electric Sheep City. It's great to see you. How are you?
Meowdy friend, doing fantastic on this like snowy evening here in the greater Denver area. Yeah, buddy. It was really, really interesting. It's like, oh, hey, it's raining. Oh no, the rain is like chunky. Oh, no, it's snowing.
What is this chunky rain? What am I in Canada?
No, I mean, I just wasn't expecting it to snow because like yesterday it was like in the 70s. The day before that it was in the 80s. So like, oh, it's rain. Nope, that's too chunky to be rain. Huh.
Have you heard that Tay Zonde song, Chocolate Rain?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I almost did the impression and I decided not to.
Chunky rain.
Well, Nate did it for us.
At one point, Tay Zonde followed me on Twitter, and then I found out that he does that to like everybody and then unfollows them to try and farm followers.
Rude.
Wow.
This was like years ago.
I
I would
wonder.
imagine.
I wonder how much it would cost to get him to do like an intro song for us. He's got
more
that.
than two.
Born to be wild. Bum, bum, bum,
Deepest
bum,
voice
bum,
ever.
bum, 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 bum. So if you don't know, then like you have to hear it at least once.
Yeah.
However, if you know, then you know. So, for those of you joining us for the first time, welcome aboard. Let me briefly explain how this show works. We record this very podcast live every Friday evening at twitch.tv/borntobewildhs. And the audio version of this podcast is then posted to YouTube shortly thereafter. And by audio, I meant video, because the audio, however, is distributed to all of the podcast apps. So, however you are watching or listening or absorbing via osmosis this podcast today, thank you. Yes, you.
Yes. Thank you very much, everybody who is joining us, especially those of you who are live with us here on Twitch. It's really fun to hang out with you on Friday night, interact with you in chat, and get to do some behind the scenes stuff a lot of times before we start the show and all of that. So appreciate you all hanging out. Wanted to give a big thank you to Shokunin, the executive producer of our show, and to Morn and our other patrons. We really appreciate your support. It means a lot to us and helps to keep the lights on. I'm officially paying for my Photoshop, so that helps there as well. But anyways, yeah, we have fun here, and we love interacting with everybody. If you're interested in interacting with us, we do have a Discord channel that you can join. It's a really cool, fun, free online community. Friends we made all across the whole world. It's been very busy lately because of this new set that just came out, sharing a bunch of deck lists, trying to figure out what's good. But we share accomplishments, we share deck lists, we share funny usernames, some real life stuff, some lore stuff, all of that. And it's super fun. Real quick, if you're interested in supporting the show, we do have a couple of ways. If you like, comment, subscribe to our stuff on YouTube, that really helps. If you want to leave us a comment or a review on iTunes or any of your podcast platforms, that helps. If you're somebody who watches or uses Twitch, we do have some emotes that you can unlock. There's some that you can get for free by following. There's others that you can get by subscribing to us, which is free if you use your Amazon Prime. Lastly, we do have some merch on our website that you can buy if you like. It's not real expensive, but it's pretty fun. So anyways, that's it for us. But yeah, thank you all for being here. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. This episode's week is dedicated to the following folks here. I need to move past all the Marvel Snap things because there's some funny ones. That Muffin Daddy, Pee Pee Poo Poo, Demon Donger. There you go. Blue Monkey, Grandpa Walrus. We have a bunch of Marvel Snap ones in there as well. Maybe I should do a separate channel. The Surly Wolves guy. That's not me. G.I. Joe. Jarl Ballscruff. Troy McClure from The Simpsons.
Hi, I'm Troy McClure.
Nate the Great, Fart Monster, Turd Ferguson, and another nice Simpsons throwback, Mr. Benjamin Dover. Oh, and of course Han Solo. How could I forget? Jeez,
He's Solo. He's Han Solo.
Did we get McPee Pants last week?
I think so, because his MCP pants.
That was the one I had.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh. There's some others that are very particular to Marvel Snap. There's some others that are not safe to say on the radio with our family friendly audience. Even a couple of the ones that I mentioned maybe were not the most.
Demon Donger could mean anything.
Sure.
The funniest one is
yeah, right. Mr. Greasy Thumb. Yep.
and
On that note.
Anyways, yeah. So we had a new set come out this past week. That was fun. I did pack openings.
We had a new card come out. That's played in Druid.
Well, yeah, that's the one I've been playing.
we had a new Druid card.
So I set up a pack opening. But when you set up a fireside gathering for your like private house or whatever, like it needs some lead-in time. So if you set it up now, it can't I think the earliest you can do it is about an hour away, something like that. And I set it up late at night when like after the show or something, and it was like almost midnight when I set it up. And so the earliest that I think I could do was either like 1 or 1:30 in the morning.
I know.
So foolishly, like I stayed awake.
Wait,
and then,
Nate staying up too late?
No.
big shocker. Yeah. But what happened was then I was like deliriously tired opening packs on iPad, forgot what most of them were, fell asleep with the iPad on, woke up the next morning and I was like, oh, what'd I get? And my pack openings, at least for the pre-release, was not that great. Mm-hmm. Let me say, like, I love the signature cards. They're super cool. The pull rate for me was pretty low.
It went way down.
Like, I think that they adjusted a little bit people were getting too many last time. Like I kept feeling like we were just not getting enough. And then I got some half of the signature cards that I got were from standard packs. And like not like
Gold
Festival of no, not even that, right? So they weren't from Festival of Legends packs at all. They were just from like standard packs. And I was like, I didn't even think you could get them from those.
I got one from that, so yeah.
I don't even know. They're really cool looking there. In fact, they're gorgeous. I'm gonna pull up my Hearthstone super quick in the background. I forgot to do this earlier. But my only complaint with them is that like I was expecting, what they said was that they would have golden, quote, golden style animations.
Uh-huh.
Their animations
and they don't
like
move like at all.
Their animations are like zero animation.
You know, I didn't even use mine yet, to be honest, because the ones I got didn't really fit.
I'm not going to do it. I forgot Hearthstone needs an update, so we'll just move on. But that was my complaint, was that like what I thought that they were going to be kind of animated, which would be cool. Like they didn't need to do full animation like the diamond ones, because those are
right.
Which, by the way, knocked them absolutely out of the park this time. I think that my favorite is, oh gosh, what did he call it? Wolf Mommy or Guitar Wolf Mommy or something like that.
Furry Guitar Wolf Mommy, something like that.
yeah, that one. Anyways, it's amazing. The artwork for the diamond cards, like it's incredible.
The Diamond Helvetica is awesome.
Yes.
I always call Helveria Helvetica.
As a graphic designer, I support that naming convention like 1,000%. It's like spot on. But yeah, they don't animate hardly at all, which is a little bit of a bummer. And then I pulled, like I had 300 plus packs, probably close to 400 packs, and I'm missing, not counting the ones that you get from the rewards track, I think I'm missing 4. And it's just irritating because I've spent so much money this week on the game because I got the golden bundle and then I got the second golden bundle. I didn't buy the regular bundles because like I just didn't need the cards, so it seemed like a waste.
Yeah.
And then whatever gold I had left, I spent on gold packs, which is cool. And so now every time I get 400 gold, like I'm just buying gold packs to try to get these stupid cards. But
they said they like wanted them to feel super special, right? And so I guess that's the point.
They
like
wanted them to feel super expensive,
dude.
So,
it's like,
well, that's right, because
it's a Willy Wonka golden ticket.
We're in a circle of whales here. Like it's people like us that will keep buying the packs until we get them all, right?
Yeah.
Shh.
Not proud of it, but yeah.
I need all the things.
Dude, I don't want to spend any more money unless there's like, if the bundle comes with like a cosmetic, like okay. But
yeah,
I can't at this point, like I can't justify going in and buying like $100 worth of gold packs. Like nope.
No. At some point you have to accept that you're just not going to get them all.
Well,
right?
No, you're not right.
Also, FYI, because I just pulled it up, $100 is 30 golden packs.
Yeah, that sucks.
And you might not get any.
3-0.
Dude, last time, the second bundle, I think I got 2, which was a big shock to me.
Yeah.
Because they felt super rare. Now they released the stats to us, so I'm not like surprised, but I was surprised that I got more from regular packs than I did from the golden packs. Oh no, so that second bundle I got 2, but one was, I think I got 2 golden legendaries and 1 signature from that second bundle is what happened.
Oh no.
Which, you know, I you hold over and it's glowing gold and I was like, oh cool, I got one. And then it flips over and it's a golden legendary. I've never been so disappointed for a golden legendary before, right? Just so stupid.
Oh, no.
It's so stupid. Like I'm still happy with everything. What my plan is just, instead of camping on the gold, I'm just, every time I get 400 gold, I'm going to buy the gold packs to try to unlock them, because the dust value, I think at least you retain the dust value more or less for the golden cards that you unpack. So like, whatever. It's fine. I was just saving it anyways. I'm not going to be baited into using it for other stuff until I get those cards, but whatever, we'll see. I would like them all, but, and you know what they'll do at some point, I think, is there will be more bundles in the future, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
Whatever. Anyways, this is so what I did this week. There's a graphic up on the screen courtesy of our friend Jordan MG, brilliant YouTuber and podcaster there. So Guff is a card, and as we all predicted, the 2 weeks leading up to the show, the new Druid card, I mean neutral card, it's called what is it? Band Tech. Hold on, Instrument Tech. It's the 2 mana neutral minion that tutors a weapon from your deck. So yeah, you just run 2 of these, and you draw Twig and Sphere. And so I was telling my friends here before the show started that I was playing on Tuesday night, and I had to do some work from home that night where I had to watch something on being streamed and take some notes and stuff. And so I was playing on the iPad while I was watching it. And so I had no deck tracker or anything, but I was just taking notes on my phone of the classes that I faced and any special notes or whatever. And the first 4 games, like, so I in our Discord, I was like, hey, what's the new broken list? Somebody said, I haven't hit Legend yet. Someone sent me a new broken thing. And I was kind of being facetious, right? But like, but like, not really. And so Corbett, right, had posted this Druid list, and it was like, all right, this is what we'll do it in. Twig will be nerfed in the next 2 weeks, and post his like rank 1 legend screenshot there. And so Schmoopy Daddy sent the list. Here it is. You asked for it. Here it is. And so I started playing it on mobile. The first 4 games in a row, I had Twig Sphere on 4. And like you can't do that unless you have the mana ramp, right? Because Twig costs 4. So it was like I had played the Instrument Tech on 2 and 3, and then turn 4 like
Innervate or Coin or
and the number of like it was just kind of nutty. And I got to Diamond 3 from 5 to 3, maybe 2, like on the iPad. And then after my thing ended around like, I don't know, it's like 9:30 or 10 o'clock, then I switched over to the computer because I was so close at that point. I was like, all right, I'm gonna just do it. And I just kept taking notes on the computer here, just in Excel. But I hit Legend. On Tuesday night. Yay! I came in at rank 749. I may have to play some more and like try to get my 11x back. I don't know. But I've got 2 legends now, right? Since we did classic last week and wild this week. So we have to go for the hat trick and try to do standard as well.
I believe in you. Thanks.
So yeah, but so here's the list. Again, I got it from Corb, so I don't take any credit for it at all. I changed nothing. So it does the thing, right? There's a lot of ways that you can win, but essentially it's just a big chunky ramp druid it has the Bran Astalor Anubricon combo. Oh yeah. Which is usually how you would do it. And even after they nerfed, I guess they didn't really nerf anything. I never really played it that much before. But yeah, I mean, essentially you get a ton of mana and then you Bran, Anubricon, and Astalor and to win. But if you don't do that, you can also like Bran Alexstrasza for 16. But a lot of times you don't even need to because you have 8 bazillion armor and you have...
Aggro will just quit because they can't kill you because they're top decking.
Yeah.
If they didn't kill you at the beginning.
And really, if you're Guff, you might not need to Anubricon to Bran Astalor.
Oh gosh, right? It's kind of funny because the decks that I was losing to actually were the aggro decks. Mm-hmm. The greedy decks, like this, just like wipe the floor with them. It's the aggro stuff. So here's the stats that like I just threw these together myself, which is a pretty healthy mix of classes on the ladder. But if you look at my losses, it was there was a mirror match. There was an even hunter, which was just super aggro. There was a mech mage that had a full board on turn 4, which is just, it was insane. I couldn't do anything. Like I had the stuff and it was not fast enough because they drew the card that reduced everything and they played the cards that reduced everything and just played a full board with the shark and I was just dead.
Whoa.
It was kind of nutty. I was not expecting to see that, but it killed me super fast. An odd rogue that just super aggro. Leroy on 5. My note says Leroy on 5. There's a boar priest that I lost to on turn 5 because they got the weapon down on 5 and just chonked me for 15, and then I had no mana.
Pig priest.
Excuse me, pig priest. Right. Pirate rogue. There's an even shaman. More pirate rogue. A mine rogue. Those were the losses. There was one time when I disconnected. It was super weird and I could not get back in and it locked the game. It was really weird. I had done a floops gloop into poison seeds into like Scale of Onyxia and it broke the game. So anyways, it locked me out of the game and fully disconnected. But when I got back in finally, like, so I quit, right, desktop and tried to get on my iPad and it wasn't working. I tried to get on my phone and it wasn't working. And finally, like, I was able to get back and it looks like it just, like, I didn't lose any points. So I'm not sure what happened. At least I don't think I lost any points. It was really weird. I've never had that happen before.
Well, and since you lost your first one, and that was your first one playing on Diamond 2, at the very least you didn't lose a star because you would have fallen back down to 3.
Right. Yeah, it was kind of strange. So I don't know what happened there. Diamond 2 was kind of rough.
I have a question about the mine rogue. How quickly did they go off? Did you?
No, it was slow.
Did you like not have time, or did you like how much armor did they go through?
Dude, I had a ton, and in fact, I was able to. I thought I was gonna stabilize out because I was able to get a bunch of armor, and they had a bunch of mines, and I was like, well, I don't want them to trigger them. I'll trigger them. So I got a whole bunch of armor.
Oh no!
I got a whole bunch of armor, and then I played poison seeds because I didn't want them to like set them off themselves, and I was able to absorb it with the armor, and I still had 30 plus health, right? It's like, oh, okay, cool, I might probably okay. And then they developed another like full board full of mines, and then they Terran Gorefiend and hit me for like, they had the
location, or not location,
yeah, it was the
sigil thing.
Yeah, that says your death rattles trigger twice.
Ugh.
And so they hit me for, it was probably about 40 on one turn, and I was like, oh, well then. And so it was good.
Yeah, it's a good deck.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's kind of funky, but anyways, it's a deck.
I thought you said that it was rogue, not paladin. Or druid. I guess druid could be funky too.
Oh, that's great. That's great. So I posted this right on Twitter, like, oh yeah, here's, I did the broken thing and play with the broken deck. And so I ended up hitting Legend 71% win rate, which is pretty good over total of 35 games. 71 is pretty good. I was low for wild. It doesn't hold a torch to my 92% classic climb.
Oh, it's low for classic.
Sad. But so I posted this, right? And I have my notes here for the times it got like blown out because I was salty is like why I wrote those, right? And so I got a feedback on Twitter. I'm sorry for being the Leroy on 5 guy. From Bray. I thought it was so funny. So I just said, LOL, that's great. Happy to see Odd Rogue. It's been a minute. And so like, I was happy to add you as a friend if you have room on your list. And he says, absolutely. I've been listening to your podcast since the beginning. Maxie threw a shout out on one of your episodes once. So that's super
nice.
cool. That's super cool. I was really neat. I was excited to see that. And I had fun with it. Is the deck toxic? Like, I don't necessarily think so. We'll get into it in a minute.
I mean, it does run poison seed.
Toxic is a strong word. Does it feel kind of broken to have 10 mana on turn 4 or 5? Like, yeah. Guff seems like half the problem to me though, because being able to go above 10 is, I think, where a lot of the problems stem from. Granted, like being able to have 10 mana consistently super early in the game is not healthy, and having like them print a tutor for the cards that let you do that, it's like, I don't know, it's not good, right?
Somebody loves Druid down there at Team
It's
Five.
because Ixar quit. It was supposed to tutor a secret, and then Ixar quit, and they're like, oh, we'll make it tutor a weapon instead. I'm joking, but anyways, it was fun. I was not really wanting to play Druid, but like it was the thing to do before it gets nerfed, and I would be happy with it getting nerfed. Twig Sphere is not super healthy for the game. I think everybody knows that. We'll get into it more in a minute because there's some balance change talk that we'll have, but I want to celebrate everyone else's week as well. It's been a long week, hasn't it? We had this conversation before the show, and you're like, I had Legend this week? Yes, you did.
Yeah. So I totally thought that it was last week, and then Nate was like, no, that was like Saturday, like the day after the show. It's like,
it's been almost a week, but it was technically it was after last show.
yes.
Yeah.
Before this show.
So before the new cards were released, I did hit Wild Legend with good old even Death Knight. Demon Knight. So even DK. Same list as it was before. It probably won't be the same going forward because one of the cards got hit, which we'll talk about before too long.
Ooh.
Yeah. It'll be largely the same, but I'm gonna probably cut Construct Quarter. It's just too expensive for what it does after the nerf. But hit Legend with that thing. And
Spoilers.
It was a blast. But speaking of the nerfs, I've played quite a few games today with Call to Arms Even Paladin. This is my current Even Paladin deck. It is by no means refined, and I mean it's Even Paladin. Let's be real; it's not going to be like a meta contender anyway. But it's been winning games.
I watched Floop hit Legend with it one time, so like,
yeah, this is not the meta for it though.
No,
This is not the metaphor. For sure. So still a blast. Lightray is now being able to be played in it. So another spoiler there. And finally, I've been playing with some Druid too. Surprisingly not aggro Druid, though I've heard that's a force to be reckoned with right about now. I've been playing Boop Druid. So, or Bonk Druid, or Questline Druid. So,
Or Whack da Mama Druid.
not the mama, not the mama.
Yeah. Not the mama, not the mama. That's the new name.
If you don't understand that reference, you just Google it. It's great.
Oh, dinosaurs. So yeah, it's a really fun deck. You play cards that buff your hero power's attack. You also play cards that give your hero attack. And then you've got like Umbral Owl to get stuff out cheap, and you get all of your attack. You only run like a very, very tiny number of minions. So you've got the new Groovy Cat to make your hero power do more. You've got Forbiddeness Floop, which you play after you play the Questline Reward Guff, so that you have basically just another Guff. You've also got Umbral Owls because you played so many spells.
Another one.
Sorry,
Yeah,
that was a little late, but
And finally, Crypt Keepers, because the vast majority of the things that give your hero attack also give your hero armor. And so those are free taunts to just slow down the aggro while you just boop them in the face. Boop the snoot.
yeah. Yeah, no, it's I heard. So Corb posted a video this week. He doesn't do a lot of YouTube, but he posted a YouTube video this week that was kind of like best decks of Wild Week 1 or whatever. And the two big ones were the Ramp Druid and this Questline Druid. So I'm not that surprised. I haven't played it yet because I was busy doing the Twig Sphere thing, but it looks really fun, really good.
And it is really fun. It's definitely not as good as the, Twig Sphere ramp stuff because we don't play Twig or Sphere in this deck because there are a number of times when I'm like winning on turn 5. So like, why would I try and like play Twig Sphere on turn 5 if I'm winning by then?
Yeah.
It's just a different archetype. So open the cards, got the cards, played with the cards. Cards are fun. Been playing a lot of Standard as well. What I typically do is whenever a new expansion hits, I play a little bit more Standard because there's a much bigger shakeup there. And typically there's something, well, not typically, but typically lately there's something that breaks Wild. So I hop on over to Standard for a bit. And whenever I boot back over here into Wild, people are either like playing the broken thing and have climbed slightly above me, or are getting tired of playing the broken thing, and so they're playing somewhat other things. So I ran into like a Twig Sphere Druid or two, but nothing like the ubiquity that it sounds like on all the meta stuff. So.
No, I think it will trickle down. Like I wanted to play it on day 1 because it was the new thing, but I think it'll trickle down. Someone asked me if we saw a lot of Questline Warlock, the Demon Seed Warlock, and I saw none on my Legend Climb.
Mm-hmm.
Like
not after the
zero.
release of the new expansion. No.
Yeah. So
I saw quite a bit of it whenever I was climbing with Even DK, but that was before the expansion.
Yeah.
I saw I think one of them whenever I was playing around with stuff today, but not nearly like it was. I think it was just whenever I was playing before. That was basically like the only new thing because it was a revert. And now we have all of the new things because the whole expansion is out. So it makes sense. So that has been the week in the City of Electric Sheep. How about over in the Hydralisk Den?
Yeah, well, I was actually pretty stoked because this pack opening went pretty well. I bought like both bundles. I was gonna just get the mega bundle, which I did for the last expansion, and I ended up getting everything the last time. It just took a lot longer than like after some nerfs, you dust the things, and eventually I crafted everything and it was fine. This time around, I did buy both the standard bundle and the mega bundle, and I did way better than I normally do.
Nice.
And so I had both, and then I had 6,700 gold, so 67 packs, right? So between all that, I ended up opening everything except for 2 legendaries.
Nice.
And I'm like, well, that's perfect because the rewards track gives you 2 legendaries, right?
Nice. Yeah.
One at 20 and one at 50. So the only one I'm missing is our cousin Tony, which I'm so jealous that Sheep, you have the
the signature
one.
I got it too. It's pretty cool.
Good. I don't have that one. Let me just look real quick. I got for signatures. I don't even know how to pronounce this one. Inza.
Yeah, Inza.
Yeah.
I got Inza, which is pretty dope. And then the other one that I got, because I only got 2. There's no way I got 2. Oh yeah, here it is.
Yeah. See, the pull rates were so low.
Fog Snout.
Oh, I'm missing that one.
I always want to say Fog Snot.
I played so much Zoc in Standard.
Oh, that's cool. But yeah, so those are the 2 I got. I was pretty stoked. I don't know how good it will be, if it's good or not. I played it in Standard, but I did open a Golden Symphony of Sins.
Oh, I did too. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I played it in Standard. I just threw it in a deck because why not? And it won me games. I was playing away, and I'm like, this card's awesome. Like I mean, like, I don't know how good it is. It's great in like a grindy value control sort of thing, where you just want to end up doing whatever with the card that you draw from it. It's just a control tool, but it's super cool. Like I really enjoy it. So I was pretty stoked about that one, and it's a really good one to get gold, right? Because I mean, value, I guess. But anyway, so pack opening went pretty sweet. I'm still missing Tony, but that will come in the next like week or 2 when I hit level 50. So that's all good.
We hit the rewards track like pretty hard, fast, like early on, right? You level up pretty quickly, I think.
Yeah, like I'm sitting at between like around like 28 to 30. And of course, it's a new expansion, so I did it on all 3 servers. I have to.
It's more than 2.
You have to do it. You have to do it. I taper off. I taper off like later on, but just you got to do it. I'm like, hold on, honey, I can't go to bed yet. I have to complete all my quests because it matters so much at the beginning for the levels because it's like only 350 XP to hit the next level. So anyway, hit that hard, but
hit it very hard.
As for like what I've been playing,
right in the face.
Exactly, aggro. I wasn't sure how the meta was going to settle. I know that when I saw Nate was playing,
He said metal. I love it.
It's
Sorry.
the music. It's the music. How the meta was going to settle. Because Nate, you're playing the broken thing. All I can see on Twitter is everyone's playing the broken thing. So I didn't know. I was playing like Totem Even Shaman, like originally, right? But I stopped at Diamond 2 stars before the expansion hit. And I'm like, I don't know if that deck's fast enough to beat Druid. So I'm just going to stop. I'm going to put that on hold for now.
It can be.
I'm going to see what happens. I'm going to switch over to EU and play something different, right? Because I don't know. And I haven't climbed on EU at all. And I've got 10x on EU. So I'm just going to do that. And I'm like, what should I do? Because I don't have a complete collection over there. And I love Rogue. And I saw on your climb that somebody had beat you with Odd Rogue. With their Leroy on 5. And I was like, you know what?
Deck's good.
I'm going to play Odd Rogue. And it's actually pretty decent.
Rowdy Fan is gnarly, by the way. That card is good.
Oh, yeah. Because it has 5 health and it gives +4 to something else as long as it's alive. And that 5 health is hard to take out. And just give it to something with a butt, if possible.
But it doesn't
like
even
on Jolly
matter.
Roger.
I mean,
I was putting it on Jolly Roger because Jolly Roger has the 3 health. Like if you put it on Deckhand or something, it could die easy. But my favorite part of the deck, at least the version that I'm playing, is the Door of Shadows.
Yeah.
Like Door of Shadows is like insane because it draws the card and gives you a temporary copy, right? It's only 1 mana and it draws a spell. So
it draws a deadly poison or a cold blood?
It draws a deadly poison or it draws your cold blood, or the best is actually drawing cutting class. Because if you already have a big weapon, you get a 0 mana cutting class.
Oh, yeah.
You play that, you might get another cutting class. And then you play that again. And like you use the cold bloods, you use the deadly poisons. Like before you know it, your weapon is doing 10 attack and you got minions doing 10 attack. I won a game with a cold blood on Leroy. That felt so good.
Yeah, this deck is fast and strong. Like
it is super fast. Like the one thing that sucked about Odd Rogue is that you couldn't have cannons, right? But it doesn't matter because it's just so quick.
Yeah. Well, having the consistent weapon, I think that was the thing that was. Pyrogue has been in a weird spot lately. It's one of my favorite decks, but I think it's been in a kind of weird spot lately. People are trying to experiment with it to see what is good. And Jolly Roger's an amazing card, but the build is kind of different now to the point where like they cut cutting class and are trying to go more board based. And I don't know, like it's good, but you just have to win super early, and then it's susceptible to things like even Death Knight or even Shaman or even the Druid if they can armor up quick enough, which I could really never do, but it was not how the deck was built. I'm
enjoying it. Like
it seems really good to me though. I like this build better because it feels a little bit more mid-rangey to me, and I like the combo stuff, and I don't know, it just feels like it's super fast still, but there's some comeback, and I like the card draw because the current Fish Rogue, like you're all in and there's no card draw at all.
No,
outside of Secret Passage, right? But like,
I feel like you need the draw.
Secret Passage and typically Door of Shadows there too, which only get Secret Passage, so you get multiple Secret Passages if it's infused. Fingers
Oh, yeah.
crossed. But yeah, I mean, you're cutting down on the amount of draw. Like you were saying, it's a different build for sure.
It's different,
Infusing
yeah.
Door of Shadows is so easy because you have so many 1 health like pirates, right? Like they just like that happens so easily.
They're cannon fodder.
Right? No, like it's super good, and Lotheb's in it just to stall
not?
somebody out because like why not? It's odd, right? Volpira Toxin Blade, great card.
good.
Like it's really good. Tour Guide is amazing in it because hey, who doesn't mind a 0 mana 2/2 weapon, right? Like the whole thing's like super solid. I don't know what tier we would want to call this at this point. It's definitely not tier 1, but it's good. Like I'm gonna continue with it. I want to get more data. I'm gonna keep playing this on EU for my climb, and I'll check back in next week. I'm gonna see if I can just keep running this and see where I get. I do want to hit Legend on NA this weekend because I'm sitting there at
You're
Diamond
so close.
3.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I just don't know what to play, but I could probably play the Twig deck.
Play that mech mage. I'm joking. I'm joking.
Shark doo.
Yeah, I'm just sitting there, and the new expansion. I should have did it before the expansion dropped, and I
don't
didn't
know.
think about it, and I was like, I'm just sort of stalling out.
I kind of did what you did. Like I waited until the expansion. I hit Diamond 5, and then waited until the expansion came out. But like, I don't know. The Druid deck is fine. It's kind of boring. Like it feels like playing solitaire, kind of. I don't know. I think the aggro decks are good. If you're comfortable, you got to play what you're comfortable with at the end of the day. If you like the rogue, you could just jam that.
Well, I'm gonna see how it goes on EU first, right? So I'm probably gonna play that a bunch this weekend, and I can use that to sort of judge if I want to bring that over to NA or not.
I don't want to give you bad advice too,
rate.
because I was playing day 1, so people were maybe experimenting a little bit still.
I hate, like with 10x, when you're on your way to Legend, you're between D5 and Legend. When you start losing, it just sucks so much.
Yeah.
So like
the grind is brutal. Between the Diamond 2 band was really awful. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like afraid to switch it up. I might just go back to the Even Shaman, to be honest.
Deck is good.
It works.
I would say like the time to experiment may be better to wait until like you hit Legend to
Yeah. That's why I don't want to switch it up. So maybe I'll just stick with that for now. That's why I experimented on a different server, because I was still at Bronze 10 on EU. I hadn't touched it. So I'm like, well, what does it matter if I lose? Like if
You can't lose stars at that rank.
It doesn't matter.
Nothing.
But yeah, Rowdy Fan is awesome. Like cold-blooded Leroy feels so good again. Like I haven't, like, I've played a lot of Swordfish Rogue, but like previous to that, I've played the crap out of Odd Rogue, and it's fun. It's fun to do again, and yeah, I'm all for it. So that was basically my week.
Nice. Hey, it sounds like a good week. We all did pretty well with our card openings, I assume. Yeah. Sheep, I didn't hear about yours. I mean, you did well though.
Yeah, I opened the cards.
Yeah.
Now I have them.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's, I don't know, for good or bad. I mean, everyone knows by this point, right? It's basically Born to Be Whale, and we have the stuff. It's like, okay. I mean,
yeah, it's not as exciting anymore. It's like, oh, I got it.
I imagine I'll get to the signature cards before too long. I've got quite a few of them, but
you know, it's bad when like you open a golden legendary and you're like, dang it, I wanted a signature card.
Like, whenever it was like, oh, golden legendary, legendary, golden legendary, golden black rock and roll. I'm trying to find signature cards. What are you doing to me?
Oh, by the way,
you go ahead. I got something.
The signature card. Okay, so that's a bad card, right? Maybe, probably.
Yeah.
But who's the legendary for warrior? The troll dude, right?
Voon, Warmaster Voon or something.
The artwork for the signature card of Voon is like the best one I've ever seen. It's so amazing.
Oh, really?
The Rockmaster Voon. Yeah, it's really good.
I'll pull it up. Hold on. The artwork is so cool. Okay, can I?
When I was opening my packs, my wife I usually use my headphones, right? And I didn't. I had the speakers on, and when I was opening my golden packs, I'm just clicking, right? Like I'm not doing it slowly, so it's doing the golden, 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 and she's sitting behind me, and she's laughing so hard, and she's going golden, golden, golden. It was just so funny. I'm like, why are you laughing? And she's like, I've never heard this before. And she was just having the greatest time. I'm like, that's what it always sounds like. But I guess I forgot that I don't have the volume on normally. I have my headphones on.
That's great. I love it.
Oh wow, that art is awesome.
Yeah, and the like lightning looks like it's kind of like shimmering down. It looks pretty cool. It's not.
It doesn't animate though. That's the bummer.
No.
Like,
oh no,
they like it looks like it should animate, and like they really don't. That's the one thing that I'm like kind of bummed about, especially with how rare they are. Like they really don't animate like almost at all. My first one was the bucket head whatever Death Knight one, and like it looks so cool. Like it should animate, and it just doesn't. Like there's like a tiny little bit of like swirly mist in the background, but it's like almost nothing. And for the rarity, I don't know. It's just like it really could be a little better, but whatever.
You know what's crazy to me is to this date, the Iron Juggernaut is my favorite golden legendary. Like its art is so good. It's like top notch, and that happened like in like 2014 or something.
I think that was my first golden legendary actually, and then I dusted it and I felt really bad about it.
I dusted mine too.
Golden common.
But it was for a good reason. I dusted it when I was trying to complete my set because I was like, I can make 2 or whatever. I can't remember how it worked, but I was like, I need to.
I did that early on. I was dusting like golden cards left and right to try to make
dirty duster.
Yeah, not anymore. Now it's worse. Collecting the gold cards is such a bad idea.
It is. I do it too.
Anyways, yeah.
Well, maybe we should.
Oh yeah, was there
news?
Welcome to the news. I can't find the button anywhere.
Welcome to the news. The news is so good.
Sorry, I found it. Okay, what do we have here? So the new set came out, but so Aleko from the dev team was saying like, all right, it's day one. What give me your hot takes, right? So here's the tweet. It's been 1 day since Festival Legends has been released. I'm now accepting all hot takes regarding standard balance. We have a window today to get in some numbers, only adjustments for an early patch. And the one that popped up on my Twitter feed here was a response from somebody called Chaos at Dice Camp. Will you have a separate post for wild balance? Twig needs to become refresh 10. It's much closer to the original design intent. To which he replied, not looking at wild until next patch. So everyone's like, there's the doom, right? Like, how long is it going to be until the next patch? Everyone complaining, right? Day one. So
that's never happened before.
Not once.
Right. Yeah. So the other tweet, actually, this maybe I should have posted it earlier because it came the day before. He says, "Give me," this is all in caps, right? For those of you watching or listening to the audio version, you won't see it, but those of you watching the video, like it's up on the screen, right? Give me your Festival of Legends 2 hours of gameplay overreactions, all caps only, please and thanks. And our good buddy Jordan MG says, instrument tech tutoring Twig and Sphere is a bit questionable, but hopefully this is just an overreaction. I'm really just bringing it up as an excuse to type in all caps. It sounded fun. and he responds, right? Caps is great. This take is reasonable. Like, oh, it really is pretty broken, right? Like it really should not be doing the thing
It was already insane before you could tutor the weapons, right? Like, not only can you tutor one of them, you can tutor both because you can run 2 tutors.
It's so stupid. It's really is a little bit absurd to the point we got a Swagwar post, right? This is Twig Sphere. Twig Sphere and Instrument Tech are so busted that you can have a positive win rate with Jungle Giants, right?
And he did in fact post a positive win rate with Jungle Giants.
So Jungle Giants is the quest for Druid with Barnabas, right? Where if you play a bunch of 5 cost or 5 attack minions, that you get Barnabas that makes all your...
It was good in standard.
It was for like a hot minute. I remember watching somebody play it in Worlds like several years ago, I think. But anyways, this reminds me of when Demon Seed was super busted and Memnarch posted that tweet that was like, he had put Gen and Baku both in his Demon Seed Warlock deck and had a positive win rate with it. Do you remember that? Oh gosh.
Because it was both even and odd, so he had to play both.
It was the tweet. It was so funny. It was so funny. And it was like, and much to the chagrin of the people who were dirty ratting me. And yeah. Anyways, so essentially what is happening with the Twig and Sphere, right, is like, it really, I don't know. I still think that, can you believe we're at a point now where Guff at 5 has been nerfed, right? Like it doesn't even feel like it's been nerfed. It's just crazy. The ability to be able to go up to 20 mana and no other class can do that, just the Druid. And then cards
Mage kind of does it, but in like reverse because everything costs 0.
Yeah, it's a little bit different, but it's the armor is the other part of it, right? So not only do you get basically infinite mana, but you get infinite armor on top of it, and it's like, all right, this is just silly at this point. But being able to have 10 mana as early as turn 4, turn 5 is like, oh dear, like.
Yeah, it's gross.
And no one else can do that same thing. Like Wild is Wild, and it's supposed to be a bunch of busted interactions, and like I get that, and I played this deck to Legend, so like part of the problem. But I'm trying to use my platform for good.
XR playing the bugged deck
for science.
The Maxima one, yeah.
You have to test it out, right? You can't just like, you have to make sure that
for science.
You have to make sure that it's actually busted.
It's quality control.
That's right. That's right. It's QC. And so this tweet from Swagwar is pretty funny. But anyways, I think we all sort of kind of agree, yeah, that like it's not healthy for the game though, right? For the long term of the game.
Yeah.
I feel like they will do something. I don't know what it is. I do like the idea of the refresh.
It's like the easiest, most elegant solution, right? Like it's.
I still think that will be good.
Yeah,
like not.
Yeah, it just
right?
won't
Like,
do the same thing. Like what happens
you
is
can still do like some weird Aviana Coon thing with it or whatever if you needed to. Like
you'd probably still run it, right? It just does. It won't do. You can't have 10 mana on turn 5.
Yeah.
Like you use it to enable some combo later in the game. Although honestly, once you get to 20 mana, like you don't really even need it anymore. But it's a little bit nutty. I mean, it's just, I don't think it was ever intended to really do that. And the refresh, like we've seen them do it with the Shaman 0 mana spell, right?
Yeah, Lightning Bloom.
Yeah. I'm glad you all know what I'm talking about because I can't remember the names of any of the cards. I just play this game. But anyways, I happy to see it go up in flames in a couple of weeks. Now, I think there was another tweet here somewhere where they were talking about, oh yeah, there's some nerfs coming soon. So anyways, the balance patch that Aleka was talking about hit, and there was only a few cards on it. We'll talk about them in just a second. But there was I have the, oh yeah, okay. So they released the patch notes today. Today's Friday, April the 14th. And they released the patch today. It was very, very quick. And here's the tweet that went along with it. He says, some minor balance adjustments coming in today for standard. For early patches like this one, our goal is to make high confidence changes which aim to open up the meta a bit until we can come in and make bigger changes later with access to more data and player sentiment, whatever that means. But the follow-up is where it gets interesting for us from a wild perspective. He says, you can think of this patch as more of a band-aid than anything else. Expect things like buffs and more foundational nerfs in the next patch. Also wanted to note that we're discussing Twig in Wild right now. I can't make any promises yet, but we're monitoring the situation.
And if they are monitoring that situation, it will change because it's a little bit of an outlier right now.
It's kind of crazy. Blue Train sent over stats like the drawn win rate of like 2/3 of the Druid deck is like in the 80 to 90% or something absurd, right? Like it's just all green. And I was like, oh my God, it's gross. I didn't pull up the screenshot, but the Druid deck is pretty busted at the moment. If you need Druid wins, get them in now, I guess. It's or just don't play for a couple of weeks. Go play standard for a couple of weeks because it's not like I wanted to play it right away because what happens is like there's this trickle down and soon like when more and more people start discovering the broken stuff, then everybody plays it and then it's just gross because then it's just going to be Druid mirror match after Druid mirror match after Druid mirror match, and like I don't want to partake in that. So I was like, all right, let me do it right away. Day one of the expansion, like I worked all day, I'll play all night, I'll hit legend, and then I'll jump back in after they fix the problem that I just participated in.
You know what?
You're providing stats for.
That's what I was gonna say. Like,
I'm
you may
helping.
be part of the problem, but you're also part of the solution by showing how broken it really is.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Thank you.
That's what you have to tell yourself. Did you sleep?
I slept great. You know what? I may or may not have a conscience. I also like after I hit legend, I sleep wonderfully. I don't care what I hit legend with. It's not for the community to self-police and deck shame. You know, it's really funny. I don't name names, but I've seen players over this past week. There's a lot of like, this is okay, this is bad, this is good, this is like, I can't believe you think that that's good or just healthy or whatever. It's like, oh my God, it's really causing like a little bit of a commotion. There's always drama, right? And this is the current drama. I agree.
In our children's card game,
right? I agree with Blue Train. I don't like deck shaming. I really don't like. And I think here's the thing that I used to be years and years and years ago. I had that kind of mentality.
Back in my day.
Yeah. I had the mentality that if something was busted, like I'm above it all. I'm not going to play that busted thing. I'm going to do the honorable thing and play the normal thing, right? And that's how you lose games. And
I'm a winner now.
And I realized, right, that winning is more fun than losing. And no. But here's my thought process, right? It's logical. So if there's something broken and you purposefully don't play it, you are then purposefully putting yourself at a disadvantage, and that's fine. But if you knowingly put yourself at a disadvantage and then you complain about it, like I have no sympathy because you made that choice. And so if something is good and you don't play it, then you complain that like you're losing to the good thing. Like, what do you think was going to happen? Now, should the good thing be like broken good? Like, no, it should not. But do I blame people for like wanting to use the good thing? Like, no. And so maybe what you do is like you participate in it, or maybe you take a break for a week or two until they fix it, or I don't know.
Find the counter to it.
I will say, okay. You brought up my other point though.
And this is why I play standard at the very beginning of an expansion, because A, there's more, change there, but B, wild breaks.
It does
easily with this and standard. I can go over there for a little bit.
I will say, so from my experience though, the broken deck, right, is that the aggro decks could get under it, like no problem, get under it. And I was losing on turn 4 to the rogue decks, no problem. Like, because this deck, because you're hunting so hard for Twig and Sphere and the tutors, that like no more Vargoth, no more the 5/10
Oaken Sun.
Yeah,
There's
because
no
you don't want to
summons,
pull
like-
out your 2-mana minion with
right.
Oaken Summons, right? Like,
No, so you're pretty susceptible to the aggro stuff. The even shaman, like if they get the nutty opener, like you lose to that. But the rogue decks, like it was almost an instant loss unless I drew really well. And so I think that it goes back to that kind of like it's the circle of life, right? Where they aggro the combo and the control. Where I was beating up on the Shutterwalk decks and any of the slow decks, like could just tank them, no problem. But the aggro decks were really hard to beat, and I was losing to them. And it was just a meta choice, and it worked. But I'm not complaining about aggro rogue. So I don't know. Also, that reminds me, this new card called Rake. Rake, is that what it is? 1 mana.
Yeah.
It's 1 mana. It deals 2 damage and gives your hero +2 attack. Holy
that
cow!
one.
That card's good. That card's really good.
It is.
1 mana
like
to clean up 2 pirates is pretty nice.
As the pirate player, I don't like it.
Yeah, so the one game I think against Rogue that I won, like I had 2 rakes in my opening hand, and I was just like ha 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 ha, and it was great.
It's not even autumn yet. Like, why are you raking?
I couldn't read it. I'm like, does that say bake? Like, this is really small on the screen. Anyways,
I know that Druid's archetype was hippie, but it's not that kind of hippie.
wow. Yeah. Well, anyways, so I think that I agree with the sentiment that I don't like to deck shame because people like to play what they like to play. There's always going to be the dead man's hand enjoyers. There's always going to be the aggro enjoyers.
And Dead Man's Hand got a new card.
Yeah, I'm sure it did. Which one?
It's the one that shuffles a whole copy of your hand into your deck. I don't know what it's called. It was a legendary, right?
Yeah, the photographer.
Oh, yeah, I got that one in gold. Yeah, okay. I've been avoiding the Cult of Dead Man's Hand, but maybe one of these days when I retire, then I'll play nothing but Dead Man's Hand and yell at kids to get off my lawn. So, anyways, there's a deck for everybody. I always remember like Burnt would play Druid no matter what. Like, it could be the worst meta for Druid, and like Burnt's playing Druid because Burnt likes Druid. And it's like, cool, man. That's have fun. Like, and he'd legend with it because he's so good at it, right? And
Yeah.
Rake came with the Lich King mini set. Whoops. I didn't even know that. That's kind of funny.
I did not remember that it came out then.
I was not playing.
This is when I played it.
I was not
Was
playing
that
Druid
in
at the
the
time.
spring? Or autumn, I mean?
So I typically like I kind of avoid Druid. I don't play a lot of it. I played a ton of it like when the Renethal, whatever that set came out.
If you think you haven't played a lot of Druid, you should see my stats. It's abysmal.
That's funny. Well, it's not a bad time to play Druid.
Druid is the only class that I have over 3,000 wins with.
Oh my gosh.
You officially have at least like 2,500 more wins than I do with Druid.
Blue Train says aggro
I
Druid
broke
is
3,100.
Oh my gosh, wow. Blue Train says that aggro Druid is woke, Twig Druid is broke. That's that. There you go.
This is the way.
Aggro Druid is very good right now, I'm told, which is good. I'm trying to focus on Demon Hunter to pump out those like last 100 wins that I need for the 1K that I've been avoiding doing, and Death Knight. So that's kind of what I want to play in Standard just to get the wins. But Druid was like, yeah, I was the thing. So last time, remember when like Wretched Tiller, that whole combo was busted? Like I played that on day one. I just wanted to see it so that I could like, all right, what is the broken thing, and how do I play it, and how do I play against it, and let me get my reps in real quick before it's not there anymore. But for those people that don't enjoy it, like I feel you, because it's It's like it is the definition of not fun and not interactive. Like when your opponent has like 15 more mana than you do, cannot be very fun, right? Like I was kind of cackling when I was the one doing it, but like it's got to feel awful on the other end. And but it sounds like they're going to hit it pretty soon. Like if they're talking about it, I wouldn't be surprised if they push it out. Like some people are saying a couple weeks, but I think by early next week, even we might see it.
Yeah. This patch seemed like they had a break glass in case of emergency window. And I don't think any of the things that were hit were like super big outliers. So I imagine that there's like a normal patch coming up before too long.
Well, and that's what they even said that. There's another one coming soon, and I don't think they say when, but there's like another one incoming, right? And they did mention that they would do any wild balancing at the next patch, so we'll see when that is. I think these were the quick, like we talked about this last time, I think, right? I get the podcasts all mixed up and dates and stuff all mixed up. I don't sleep enough, and so time in my mind is very fluid, but where it's very easy for them to make stat line adjustments. If I'm coming in and changing the mana cost, changing the attack, or changing the health, it's easy to do, right? But if I'm changing
or durability,
yes. If it's a number, right? I'm swapping a 2 for a 3, whatever it is, like easy peasy. But if I'm gonna then do programming stuff to change fundamentally how a card works, like that it takes longer, right? And so if I want to make Twig refresh mana instead of gain mana, like that not only do I have to reprogram it, but then I got to test it also, and that just takes it takes time.
Yeah,
it takes time.
Yeah,
it's easy to tweak a number and say, oh, this costs 10 mana instead of 9, whatever. Right. Speaking of which, so we have a couple. Here's our nerfs. Right, so this came out today. Today's Friday the 14th. There are 3 cards that got hit. All right.
Just dodged Jason.
Just dodged it.
Yeah. All right. Someone walk me through it.
Okay. Well, we got Construct Quarter, which remains at 4 mana, but it used to have 3 durability. Now has 2. Ouch. So like you're gonna get the instant effect still, right? You get to do the thing. You get to make the 4/5 undead with Rush, but you only get to do it twice now, and that's just
it's cutting out a whole 4/5 with Rush. That's huge.
Yeah. You are missing a lot of stats now at this point.
Yeah. Let me ask you, Sheep, because you've hit Legend with even Death Knight 2 months in a row at this point. And that's just in Wild, right? I know you play this in Standard as well, but like even Unholy Death Knight was running this.
Here's actually
cut it now.
I'm going to cut it. Absolutely.
How many times do you use the third one? Here is like the real question, I guess.
Every time.
Every time.
Pretty much every time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the way that I look at even Unholy DK is it's basically a mid-range deck, right? Like it controls the board with the spells, which then give you more tokens to then buff or further control the board. So it's as mid-range as a Wild deck gets, essentially. And cutting out a whole 4/5 with Rush is huge. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. I totally play Construct Quarter at 2 mana for 2 durability, but like 4?
Uther doesn't get it.
Not even a little bit.
Now, what if the deck got faster?
If the deck was faster, I don't think I'd be running Construct Quarter anyway.
Uther gets it.
I guess for 4 mana, right?
Right.
If it was, you put it in very good terms, I think, to understand that it's the same mana cost, but you're losing a 4/5. Like that is a very large change.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know. It's kind of crazy. Like if they wanted to keep the mana cost that high, maybe they keep the durability and make it like a 3/4 instead or something.
Yeah. And I'd probably still run it with 3 3/4s. Cutting out a whole durability is pretty huge though.
Well, and realistically, like this is silly, right? But for Wild, like 4 mana, I want to be doing something more proactive than dropping the construct quarter, right? I mean, because I still need a button to get my 1/1 charger to even play this on, unless I already have stuff, which I might. But I don't know. It just
The way that it typically would work is I could drop the construct quarter at 4, get rid of one of my other small like token dudes, which would give me a corpse, which I needed for my the necro whatever, the 2/3 that prints the 1/3 taunts.
Yeah.
But that you need a corpse for.
I love that I'm not the only one that doesn't know the card names. It makes me feel so much better.
There are dozens of us.
The one card that does the thing, yep, that one.
Yeah. So now, you would typically get value from like immediate tempo value, like already anyway. And if you weren't, then you wouldn't be dropping it on 4. You'd be dropping it on 5 anyway, because you'd have the hand space. You'd have cards in hand to be able
just
to
run wisps. It's okay.
It'd be fine. But yeah,
I'm joking. Don't add wisps.
I mean, you could.
You could.
But yeah, I will not be running construct quarter that 2 durability anymore. It's just not worth.
In fact, so I trust Zacho for especially for standard, from Vicious Syndicate, who posted something earlier today, which I think I took a screenshot of on my phone, essentially dropping it from all the decks. I thought it was interesting, and I don't disagree, and I trust his opinion, especially on standard stuff. Let me find it real quick. But essentially he said, hey, like this gets pulled from all the Death Knight lists. Saying a lot. Let me find it because I was looking at yeah, here it is. So here's the tweet. Blood Death Knights drop quarter for Amalgam. Frost Unholy Death Knights Rowdy Fan is now core. Business as usual. There's the tweet. So I just think that it lost a little bit too much value for it to be worth its mana cost now.
I mean, like, see you in a year, I guess.
Yeah. Well, and this
Hopefully
is the
it'll be
second
back.
nerf. Yeah, and this is the second nerf, right? Like the first one, I wasn't playing it in even DK because it was 3 mana.
That's insane for 3 mana.
Yeah, it was format warping for standard. Like whole decks and pretty much Death Knight as a class was like propped up on construct quarter. And the nerf to 4, I feel like made it, I'm not going to say fair, but balanced it a bit. That this just takes way too much out of it. Ripperoo.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I think that it makes me wonder though if this one doesn't get reverted, if like
at least halfway.
Well, like if the stats don't justify, say they need more data. Like I can see how Death Knight is very strong right now, particularly in standard. But if they're looking at potential other tweaks or buffs or whatever, like this is one that I could see coming back. Like, oh, maybe we didn't need to hit it so hard. I don't know. Or maybe they just wait a year until rotation again and it gets its, like, I don't see it coming back to what it was at start. Like, I think it stays 4. When it goes to wild, I think it'll go 4 back up to 3, or they just don't touch it and then we just don't play it anymore. It's just kind of sad. So
yeah.
Anyways, well, there's the card. There's the first card.
Well, the next one is Vengeful Walloper, and y'all may remember this from the Walloper deck if you want some 0 mana 5/5s.
I'm upset about this.
Yeah, it was fun. It was actually fun. I played this after, because we talked about it on the show. Nate, was it you who said you got your butt kicked by this at one point or something?
Yeah, I was surprised to see it. The deck is good in wild, but it's good in standard right now too. I've been playing in standard.
But yeah, so it's gone up. So Walloper, if you don't know, it is a 5/5 rush that says costs 1 less for each outcast card you've played this game. It used to cost 6 with its original cost before discounts, and now it's 7. So it has gone up by 1 at this point.
The funny thing is, I honestly don't think that this. I don't think that it really changes that much, because I started playing it last night. I was looking for something in standard to play, and it was not having a lot of luck with the Death Knight stuff that I wanted to play. And I had this list from somebody somewhere. I don't know. It's in our Discord now. But when I was playing this, it was like 2, 3, 1 mana, 0 mana. Like you're getting outcast cards left and right. And 1 mana I don't think it makes a huge difference. So I'm okay with like it feels like a light touch. What I don't like is when they nerf it to the point where it's like, well, this isn't playable anymore. If I want to run this deck, the Outcast Demon Hunter deck, whether it's wild or standard, like I still run this card. I don't.
It just slows it down a little bit, which I think is the light touch that they were going for with this nerf.
I mean, if you have to, instead of a 0 mana, and now it's a 1 mana, oh well.
Right.
Might still be okay. I mean, time will tell, but yeah, like you said, light touch, I feel.
Yeah, this one seems okay. Then we had one other one, which kind of felt like not super necessary to me, but whatever.
I mean, I hate this card, to be honest, when I'm playing against it.
I do too, but like,
crazy.
5 is not that bad. I mean, when they play for 0 mana, it's like 0 mana 5/5 with taunt, but...
All right, so let me announce it for the audio listeners. Lightray, I'm sure you've all played against it if you play standard, is a 9 mana taunt, costs 1 less for each paladin card you've played this game. So it is one of the pure paladin cards. So it's the 0 mana 5/5 taunt that you see in pure paladin has now gone from 9 mana to 10 mana. So it's basically the same nerf that we just saw with Walloper, right? It's gone up 1 mana. It's
fine. Whatever.
It's already, in my opinion, like an insane card. So we'll see what happens. To me, this card is like one of the best cards that Paladins had in a long time.
Yeah.
So now it costs,
in my opinion.
Yeah. Now it just costs 1 mana instead of 0. It's fine.
Exactly. It costs 1 mana instead of 0.
And I've been playing this in even Paladin today, and it's been great.
Dude, so I almost, when I was doing that legend climb, right? Hey Bray, by the way, it's good to see you. I'm glad you're here. And I was taking notes, right? Because I wasn't playing on the computer. I was playing on iPad mostly. So I was taking manual notes. And there was one deck that I played against that was like right before I hit legend. It was I don't know. It was the Diamond 1. Against a Divine Shield Paladin. Right? I was like, what the heck is this? I don't even know what this is. And and what I figured was either this is one of those crazy lists from the CN server that we're seeing, or more likely, this is somebody who's already hit legend and now they're goofing around. And I just decided to make like a pure Paladin Divine Shield wild list. I was like, oh my God. How do you try to beat something that you don't even know what it is? And they just keep playing big, giant, chunky things and then giving them Divine Shield. It was awful. Like I won, but barely. And like I had to stabilize. Like I had to remove, and then combo out. But it was surprisingly good. And I think that there might actually be something there, whether it's wild or in standard. Like all the Divine Shield stuff, it's really seemed pretty strong. Difficult to deal with. So
yeah,
I don't know. I'll have to play with it now, but I think that seems okay.
And that's kind of the direction that the standard just pure Paladin was going before the expansion.
Right.
And it's kind of leaned even further that way after the expansion, because there's a lot of Divine Shield synergies. So us having a deeper collection and more Divine Shield stuff that we can play makes complete sense that we can do more stuff with it.
Agreed. Man, Paladin in standard right now, like as soon as I start playing against them, I'm like, I don't want to play this match. Like it's not fun because it's so good.
Yeah. You guys have any other hot takes on the new set, the new meta, new cards? I agree, by the way, in chat, like unnerfed Cold Blood. Like we didn't get justice for Nitro Boost Potion, but we got Cold Blood, which is just as good, right?
Oh, Cold Blood is nuts. I am enjoying the Odd Rogue deck so much. So I think possibly it might be underrated this point in time. We'll see. Like I said, I'm gonna play it through on my EU climb and find out.
Nice.
Yeah. I don't really have a whole lot of hot takes. Like something typically breaks wild. It broke wild. That thing is really strong. And then once that gets fixed, then we'll experience the new meta.
Yeah.
Like it was meant to be experience. I feel like it's a pretty lukewarm take though.
I haven't seen too much else yet.
Jungle Giants OP.
That's great. My meta was fairly diverse, but again, it was day one, and so I think people were experimenting.
Yeah.
I'm really curious. I'm trying to think about the new cards that came out to see if there's anything that's too broken. I have not played against Tony yet at all, nor have I used it, so I don't know.
Tony is really fun in standard, at least, where you can, of course, a Nubricon, and then Jailer, and then Tony. So Tony can't be killed. Well, I mean, he can if you use like Brawl or whatnot, but that's a really fun combo. Tony is really cool.
Oh, fun. All right. I'll have to check it out. I haven't had a chance yet, but
I can't yet. I don't have Tony. I mean, I could just craft Tony, but that would be stupid.
I got
just wait till level 50 and I'll have Tony.
Yeah, you'll get there in no time.
I got so confused.
When the weekly quests reset on Monday.
Yeah. You level up pretty fast. I got so confused, right? Because we always kept talking about Uncle Tony.
This is Cousin Tony.
Yeah, this is a different,
Tony.
Just too many Tonys.
This one's the pirate.
Pirate Tony versus Mage Tony. Anyway.
Aha!
Argh.
Perfect. Nailed it.
Oh god, that's great.
Yes.
There's they're calling it Hostage Mage, which is essentially like a new version of
the Quest Mage, right?
Mage, yeah, it's the Quest Mage with the Time Warp, and it's using the new cards, and it's using
is it the 0-3s that fill the board?
Roma to play a bunch of stuff again, and anyway, Shmoopy Daddy was looking for a list this morning, and then NHL posted one today, and it seems gross. I'm not going to propagate that.
But if you are looking for it,
it's on our Discord.
It's on in our Discord. Yeah,
it's on NHL's Twitter for sure. If you're looking for it, or if you go in our Discord under the Mage decks, I'm sure if it's not there yet, I'll post it there against my better judgment. But
yeah, I mean, you're NETC. You've got the potion NETC and two other cards that don't matter. But because you got the potion there, so that Roma plays it guaranteed. And oh look, we're held hostage again.
Gross.
Hooray.
Gross.
Oh, sorry, I was getting that confused with what did they call it? There's a hostage rogue. What's the one where you fill the opponent's board with the 3/3s and they can't, or the 0-3 and they can't do anything because you lock their board out? Have you seen that deck?
I don't know that I have.
Regis Kilbin made a video on it for standard. It's like the 0-3 that does nothing, and you can fill their board with the 0-3, and they're just locked out, and there's nothing they can do because the 0-3 is on their board. I'll try to find it. I wish I actually had the list or could talk about it, but that's what I thought you guys meant at the beginning. But yeah, they're just locked out and can do nothing at that point.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah, it's kind of rude. But
very rude. Yeah, so I'll have to play more with the stuff. I don't know yet. I've been trying to curate a few lists as I've seen them. Sorry, Slizzle has entered Hearthstone. Let me close that so it stops making noise.
Lockdown Road, he calls it.
Ew. I have seen, so here's what I've seen so far, just new meta stuff, very briefly looking at what we've seen. So we've got the Ramp Druid, right? Druid seems to be the winner. So there's new Bonk Druid or Questline Druid. Aggro Druid is back as well. All those lists are in our Discord. I do have a new Beast Hunter list. So Nathan Jessup posted a list, entered Wild Legend at rank 313 with the Beast Hunter list. That's in our Discord. I've got the Hostage Mage. Don't like that. Let's see. Wow, nobody plays. There's a. What day did the expansion come out? It was on Tuesday, right? Tuesday was
the 11th.
Okay, so my last list for Paladin was right before the expansion came out, but for Sheep's, I think it's a couple iterations back. We could post it though. Even Paladin is in there. Haven't seen any priest stuff. The rogue is definitely coming back. I saw the odd rogue. I saw the pirate rogue, and
Mine rogue.
yeah,
Mine rogue is still there. Who did I play against the most? You know what? When I was playing the odd rogue, I actually ran into an enraged warrior, and I did not think it was going to be an enraged warrior with, like risky skipper and they gained a bunch of armor and all that, and I failed horribly. I got destroyed.
Oh, I dunked on. I faced one as well, but I dunked on him super hard. But
I didn't know what was happening at first. I'm like, who's playing warrior?
Right? Yeah, no, it doesn't seem a lot of play.
Yeah, and then I got wrecked, and I felt, and they emoted a lot.
I always insta squelch, so I never know. I never know if people are emoting, so I just don't know. So I feel bad if it's somebody who's like a friend or whatever. Like, I just don't know. I can't handle it. I'm not like it triggers me too hard, especially snap. Oh my god, I can't handle it. But I'm so used to doing it that I like first thing I get into a game, squelch. Like, I don't even think about it anymore. It's like one of those auto reflexes. It
depends on how anxious I am. Like, if I'm like nervous and I'm close to legend, it's squelch every time. Like funny. Along the regular climb up until diamond, I don't care. I usually leave it open. No
Life King posted somebody hit EU Wild Legend number 90 with XL Cube Warlock.
Ooh, Nate.
Ooh.
It's probably bait, but like
bait is delicious.
Yes. I love Cube Warlock. It's my favorite deck of all time. I don't even think there's any.
It's very shiny.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's got the new Rin in it. Cobalt Sticky Finger, get out of here. This is not a real deck. Come on.
It's because of all of the like Twig sphere stuff. Come on.
You can steal their Twig. That's hilarious. But you crack them in the same turn you play them, right? So
typically, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I've seen them not.
I will say if you the problem is if you only get one tutor and it pulls the Twig, you can play it. But if you get only one tutor and it pulls the sphere, like I would sit on it typically, unless you really are struggling and you need it. Like I would play it out of desperation, but I'd rather not.
By the way, Desperation is a really good Stephen King novel.
Yeah. Is he gonna come out with any new stuff? Sorry, never mind. Let's talk about that later. There's so many cards. Like this, the flavor of this set is really cool. What I want to know, because I have not played with the sound on, unfortunately, do these cards play music when you play them? Or do they not? Like we were asking this before the set came out when we heard the trailer and it had the fun music. And I was like, oh, I bet they play music when you play them, but like I don't know still. I know the mage legendary spell does a very brief like techno like kind of thing.
Effect, yeah.
But I don't know about any of the other ones.
So like you, I kind of go back, well, I often play without the sound, but I often play with it too. And every time I've seen one of the legendary spells, it's been when Hearthstone's muted.
Oh no!
So, unfortunately, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I've played enough standard because that's where you're gonna see it, right? Enough to answer that question. Because when I was playing on my iPad, and my wife and I were watching Modern Family, and so my volume is completely down, and I have no idea what anything sounded like. Unfortunately,
we can look it up on YouTube, I guess. A lot of times will listen to a podcast or an audiobook or watch Netflix or whatever it is while I'm playing. And so I won't be listening, but I will say that was one of the things that really got me into the game initially was just like
Give me a big hug.
Exactly.
Hydra made it stinky.
It's like it's so whimsical, and I just thought like it's so funny when you play a card and it's like,
ooh, monsters behind you.
right? And
it's so good.
It's great. It's great. And
Or like when you get like the really cool combo off and you just hear ha 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 ha.
this one
Leroy Jenkins.
Oh, when I got to do that, yeah, that's exactly how it felt. I got to do that yesterday, and
Wait, this is a family show.
Hey, loser.
Nate did it. He's an enabler.
sorry.
Yeah.
A big hug.
These are
Wiser words.
yeah, pretty much.
Caution. Hot.
These are some of my favorite. These are like
I'm ready. I'm not ready.
they're so good.
Work.
What
Yeah,
is
when-
it?
I know that one's so good.
Spoiler.
They're so good. There's so many good ones. I'm sorry. I could do this all. I could sit here and fish all day.
That's like when you and I literally spent like 4 hours
Like
playing
on
with
the voice mod. I installed it. A couple of days ago. By the way, it's not turned on right now. Or is it?
Yeah, mine's currently off because I was getting weird, like fuzzy sounds.
Yeah,
I have to
that
I have to
was
sort
weird.
through that, figure that out. I don't know why I was doing that, but
Auto-tune episode incoming.
right. Anyway, let's talk about the listener series.
Oh yeah, that thing.
Yeah, so for those of you who may not be familiar or who missed last season's listener series, the Born to be Wild listener series is a free Hearthstone tournament series with custom deck building restrictions each week. The main series lasts 5 weeks, followed by 3 weeks of playoffs. So we are into the first week of playoffs, or what is also known as the quarterfinals this week.
Yeah, we ended up taking, like, we pushed everything back by 1 week because the new set came out, and the thought was that we should give people a little bit of extra time to deck build, and everything was so fresh and new. We weren't sure if we needed to tweak this challenge, and anyway, so there's not going to be a streamed match this week. It'll be next week instead.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So this week in the quarterfinals, I actually don't know that we have a title for this week.
I think I do. I'm pulling it up right now because I neglected to put it in the show notes because I'm not a very good podcast host. But I do have it here.
It's not true.
I can bring it up relatively quickly. It is called. So we are in top 8 now. This is week 6. It is called the Lich King Awakened, and I haven't done the Goliath thing, but here I'll do. Here we go. After a long stage of hibernation, with the personalities of Arthas and Ner'zhul warring over the Lich King's body, the Fallen Prince prevailed and took complete control. Awakening at last, the Lich King began his invasion of Azeroth, provoking the Alliance and Horde with attacks from the Scourge to lure them to Northrend, where he planned to kill and resurrect them as his eternal champions. All right, it's not nearly as cool as when Goliath does it, but
3 spoopy, 5 me. So in this week, the primary challenge is that got cut off. Half and half. Each deck must have the same number of minions and spells. So hero cards and weapons are not banned, but if you use them, you must ensure that the number of minions and spells are equal. So you can still run the other two, but for obvious reasons, it has to be the even number of those weapons or hero in order to make the number of minions and spells be equal. So the secondary challenge is that each deck must include 15 cards from the Year of the Dragon. So the Year of the Dragon includes Rise of Shadows, Saviors of Uldum, Descent of Dragons, Galakron's Awakening, and the Demon Hunter Initiate set. The Death Knight card, the Death Knight class, which you have to run Death Knight, we'll get there, only requires 8 cards from Year of the Dragon because it wasn't there. The other rules, and here's the kicker.
Oh, this is the fun part. Yeah, this one's pretty cool.
Yeah. So each player must bring 1 Death Knight deck, and it cannot be banned.
It goes along with the theme, right? Because Arthas is assuming control, and like this is like the penultimate leading up to it. So
Yes.
it's very in theme lore wise.
Definitely. And so the other 3 decks that you're running are dependent on what type of Death Knight deck is being brought. So if the majority of the runes in the Death Knight deck are blood runes, so 2 out of 3, then it's the Bloody Cabal. So Mage, Priest, and Warlock are the other 3 that need to be brought. If the majority of the runes in the DK deck are Frost, then it's Frosty Lotus. Druid, Rogue, and Shaman must be brought. However, the majority of the DK runes are unholy, then you're in the unholy goons. Love it.
Oh, man.
So Hunter, Paladin, and Warrior, and those are the grimy goons and the Cabal classes. Oh, I see what y'all did there. That's clever. So
Man, this is gonna be hard.
Rainbow DK is not allowed.
There's no rainbow DK this week, unfortunately. But I really like this. So you have to think. I think we had some chat going on in the Discord earlier, and someone, I think it was Stazari, is like, "Well, how do you figure out what's the best thing to bring?" And I was like, "Well, I think it's just what you like playing, because I think for me, I like the blood runes the most, and I like the Cabal classes the most. I'm very comfortable with that style of play. But you really have to pick something. Like there's a downside, right? Whatever you play, you have to give up. There's a sacrifice there, essentially, right? You can't, like, all right, well, normally you could pick anything that you want, and this week it's just very restrictive. So you have to think long and hard about, all right, what am I willing to give up to play the Death Knight rune set that I want to play?
Yeah,
I think it's going to be fun. Ideally, we'll stream one of these matches next week after the show. I'm very thankful that we've been able to do that every week so far. So
I get the pleasure of going up against Dr. BOMD for this.
Oh, you made the playoffs. That's right. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you very much, sir. Now it's gonna get real. And I've no idea what I'm doing yet for this, so I've got to put my thinking cap on and get down to business on this one, because this is a little more difficult than it's been in the past. So like normally when we deck build, I know Nate, you do this as well. I use a spreadsheet when I do it, just because like we have the requirements, like you need this many undead, you need this many reborn, this many spells, this many discover cards, like whatever it is. Like I used to just, like go through and count, like, okay, I got this many, and like this season I'm like, Excel exists.
The thing that we did this time, though, that made it a little bit, I don't know, easier is not the right word, but you could double up on, like, if you have to bring a certain number of undead cards and death rattle cards or whatever, like if you've got a card that fits both, like it'll check both boxes for only one card. So that's pretty cool. We didn't always do that in the past, and so that hopefully makes it a little bit better. But it's been very interesting this time around, and
I definitely appreciate that. I've been trying to abuse that as much as possible this whole time. Like what checks both boxes it has been sort of my go-to.
And there's a pretty strong undead neutral minion that is in the Year of the Dragon and Kartut Defender. So definitely would recommend that one. And in fact, the final restriction is our kind of season-long growing restriction, which you just alluded to, Hydra. The Scourge grows. There must be a minimum of 9 undead cards in all decks.
9! Oh, that's getting high.
What do we start at? 4?
That's a lot.
Was it 4?
Yeah, I think it was 4.
This is the last week of undead
Yeah,
cards. So
9 is so many. So doubling up is definitely the way to go.
it's more than 2.
I actually suppressed that earlier. So
Well, it's
thank
hard
you.
with undead too because some classes obviously like DK just naturally have them, right?
Yeah.
Well-
And so when you're going with the other classes that don't,
We try to
we're
keep
relying on a bunch of neutrals at this point.
Yeah, we try to keep
Yeah.
we thought about going heavier with the undead requirements, but like there's just not as many that are
I have some ideas that are floating through my head. Won't say them live.
Oh dear. Well, it should be fun. It's been a fun season, especially considering how busy we've all been with real life. Like it's gone pretty well considering, and so I do want to give a big shout out to NHL and to Schmoopy Daddy and to Doc BOMD and Hydra and Sheep and Blue Train whoever else I'm forgetting. I think that have helped.
Did you say NHL?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
And I think really appreciate your help kind of coming up with the ideas and I don't know if moderating is the right word, but it's been we've all had a lot of like real life distractions going on between work and family stuff and whatever else. So it's been nice having a team on the back end helping. Super cool. And I'm really excited to take this next season kind of off, this in between, or while we do Festival of Legends, and then ramp into one next time that we can start ideally like at the launch of a season. It gets a little bit funky when we're like finishing up as a new set launches. Like it's not really intended, but it's just kind of how it worked out. But we're super close to finals, so we're in top 8, and
Next week will be top 4, and then we'll be in the finals to determine who wins this season. Speaking of winners, Hydra mentioned that he's playing against Dr. BOMD this week. Doc won last season, so some stiff competition that Hydra's facing in week 1 of the playoffs.
Yeah. We'll see how that goes.
yeah. You'll do fine. You'll do fine.
Yeah, I had to verse
Insects!
Marty last week, and like going in, I know that Marty is such a good player and deck builder, and I went in like anxious, I swear, like right from the beginning.
I
and
know.
lost. I knew I was gonna lose. It was 3-1. I got a win in. I was happy
Right.
to get the win in.
Yeah, you did.
My mentality going into those games is like just not a sweep, just not a sweep, just not a sweep.
That's what I was thinking too. It was so funny. Please don't get swept.
Oh man.
Or swept, I guess. Anyway, it was still fun. It's always fun. That's the thing, right? Like every time, even like when I've lost, and I don't think I've made the playoffs before, so like I've lost a lot, and it's always been fun, right? Like it's the camaraderie and the deck building with your friends and whatnot.
That's great.
cool.
I'm glad.
That's
You know,
what
it's
it's
so
all
funny
about,
because
yeah.
on ladder, like I can't handle it, right? On ladder, it's like if I'm not winning, I'm not having fun. But with this, it's so different. It's so different. Like the community, I think, is more of the fun part, and like just the experience of the deck building and the playing the silly decks against friends, and like that part I really enjoy. And if I don't win, like I don't care. I guess there's no pressure either of like I don't particularly like I'm never gonna throw a game, but
No.
I'm also not trying to like win or make it to the playoffs per se, right? Like I'm not going to throw, but I'm also not going to like meticulously plan and deck build and test and modify. Like I'm mostly trying to have a fun time and make something that's viable and not get swept. And if I win, then that's great. And I did okay this season. Like I didn't lose every week or win every week. It was kind of a mishmash of both. And
Was it a mishmash mosher? That's one of the new cards for the uninitiated.
There are some very good puns in this set. I really enjoy the flavor this time around.
Don't get me started on Aerosmith again.
That is the travesty
Well, and the Rexar like skin on the Tavern Pass is Rockabilly Rexar. Rockabilly. If they had gone with Rockabilly, then okay, I can see Aerosmith, but disappointment.
I've been calling him Elvis Rexar, but
Aerosmith should still definitely be rock. I agree, but like Rockabilly,
they
definitely
can't.
not folk.
They
Definitely
can't
not
call
folk.
a folk card Aerosmith. Like that's like
No, you can't.
that's like
No,
unconstitutional.
Elvis fits.
That's like
Elvis
go to
fits
jail.
with rockabilly.
Elvis is fine. It's not the Elvis part. It's the Aerosmith part. Like you can't.
That's
so bad.
well, they definitely missed a thing.
Banjosaur is really fun in standard and fits the like folksy thing like King Mr. Mookla does too, but like Aerosmith, Rockabilly Rexar, so close yet so far.
When you play the card, does it go like dream on, dream on?
I've never played it with the volume turned on. Alas.
The licensing would be so expensive.
Yeah.
That's why everything's like slightly off. It doesn't say like exactly the same thing.
I want to hear. I was thinking
once they have that Microsoft money, then they won't have to put the space in between Arrow and Smith.
Yeah.
yeah, maybe. Oh gosh, I just kept thinking about like House of Pain, right? So get out your seat and bounce around.
Bounce around, yeah.
Like, oh,
There's a couple
dear.
like Fallout Boy ones. With
Yeah,
Demon Hunter and stuff.
they're
Yeah.
so good. That one, they nailed that one. Clearly,
Oh yeah.
it's a generational thing, right? I mean, I've been there for
could be.
Fallout Boy is one of my favorite bands. No lie, I think Patrick
My
Stump
kid
is
is super into Fall Out Boy right now. He's like loving it. He heard that Centuries song. It came on the radio when we were driving the other day. And he's like, "What is this band?"
Oh, really? They
Yeah.
just released a new album last month, actually.
Oh, what?
Yeah. There's a new album last month, and it's really good. They're a great band. I've been listening to them for years. Their old stuff, like From Under the Cork Tree, was like when they did Sugar We're Going Down was like okay, but after that, like they've just gotten better and better and better. And Patrick Stump, I think in my mind, is like the singer guy is like music genius. He put out a solo album where he did every instrument and recorded it and mixed and mastered like the whole thing. He did the drums, he did the guitar, he did the bass, he did the vocal, like he did the whole thing. Like wow. And it's okay. It's got like it's very like Michael Jackson pop like oriented, which is not really my thing, but like he very
goes for
good
that
at it.
sound. Like he totally. If you listen to that Centuries song and you listen to the verses, he's doing a whole Michael Jackson thing.
Yeah. His voice is really good too. Anyways, they did a they hit emo on the head, but it makes me wonder if it's a generational thing, right? Because the more like, how do I want to put it?
Like calling druids hippie instead of like
it's because all of the older folks like are not on the team anymore, right? Because they all left.
But Just a Guy is right there. Both Cora and Sage could just ask Just a Guy.
No, the team is just full of millennials doing like, emo references.
Yes, that is what I'm saying. Saying. I just couldn't think of a nice way to say it. But like the older generation music is not represented. Like
that's why they screwed up Aerosmith. They didn't get it.
Yes. Like it's represented, but it's represented incorrectly. Is what I'm saying.
See,
like an attempt was made.
Counterpoint. I am solidly a millennial, and I was like, "Wait, Aerosmith, rock, folk? What are you doing?"
Well, maybe you have an old soul.
Yeah, but you also own every. You also own every Beatles album, so you also you're half boomer.
Taken. Oh no. More foolish words have never been spoken.
That's
and
right.
You heard that on
Born to be wild.
I mean, We were digressing anyways.
You may as well. Yeah, we're going down like another music hole.